Let's talk to Nigel Huddleston MP, co-chair of the Conservative Party. He's down in Westminster for us. Nigel, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
This government stumbles around from bad to worse, doesn't it? I mean, this morning we've got Oliver Ryan MP, who's apologised for being part of this ghastly WhatsApp group, which has claimed yet another minister who's been suspended from the government. If this is how some Labour MPs think, surely they are unfit to be in government, aren't they?
Yes, I think they are, and you're right. Actually, every single week there seems to be yet another major error from this government. Now, many of us suspected that they weren't competent before the last election, and they're certainly proving that, and it's our job to hold them to account for all their errors, and certainly they're making them. And in terms of the WhatsApp conversations, you know, it's bad that they existed, but more importantly, it's bad that it's even in the heads of those people that they think those kind of comments are appropriate about their own constituents, about elderly people. You know, it shows the utter disdain, unfortunately, of Labour MPs to segments of the population who are under attack, not only online and in WhatsApp groups and comments, but actually in policies as well, winter fuel and so on. So you're right, actually, there's plenty of areas to attack Labour, but also it's our job to make sure that we present ourselves as an alternative, as the major party of opposition. And we'll do that a lot, in the chamber and outside.
Well, there's a lot of talk about that this weekend, isn't there? Because, of course, reform are very much the flavour of the month. Nigel Farage has just come out as we speak with some breaking news, promising to reverse the inheritance tax on farmers. Farmers are descending upon Westminster this very day. They should be, if they're not there now, they'll be on their way from North London. The position, of course, that the Reform Party has is that they stand full square with the farmers, and they're often seen with them at their demos. Is there anybody from the Tory party going to be with them today?
Well, actually, I'm very glad that Reform have caught up with Conservative Party policy, as articulated by Kemi quite a while ago, that we would reverse the agriculture property relief and also the business property relief. We announced that a while ago, because that's the kind of thing we do when we are in opposition, and His Majesty's opposition. We make clear the policy stance versus Labour. And so actually, I'm glad that they have now followed us, but let's be in no doubt. I mean, there was a picture where I'm standing now, there was pictures with me, Kemi, lots of people, a cow a few weeks ago, lots of farmers, lots of tractors standing shoulder to shoulder with farmers. And we don't just do that in Westminster, right across the country. This weekend we were out with farmers. A few weeks ago with both councillors, with MPs, we are standing shoulder to shoulder with farmers, because you're absolutely right. It's yet again the Labour Party attacking people who generally don't vote for them, and also showing they don't understand the countryside. They don't understand the rural areas. Farmers do not make much money. The average ROI, return on investment, is 0.5%. They're not in it for the money. They're in it because they're custodians of the landscape. It's in their DNA, it's in their blood. Labour do not get that. We get that as Conservatives, and we represent large parts of the rural areas of this country. So not only today, but historically, over the last few weeks and months, we've stood shoulder to shoulder with farmers. Anybody who wants to join us, please do so.
And what do you make of this poll that came out yesterday from JL Partners, which basically says Labour would lose 211 seats, going back to where they were on 200. Basically, the Reform Party would pull in about 102 seats, and Conservatives would recover a little bit, but to a 1997 level of about 190 seats.
Yeah. Well, I think this is important. We've always said that our recovery, our renewal as a party, as Kemi has articulated, would be a long process. But what's important, and that poll is interesting, as are other polls, if you'd said to me 7 months ago, Nigel, you're going to be chair of the Conservative Party, and we're going to put you on par, or even in a couple of polls ahead, and, you know, you'd be gaining seats. You know, this just a few months after the biggest defeat we'd have, I wouldn't have believed them. And the reason is that we are holding this government to account. We are pointing out the errors and the positive Conservative message. Now, Reform is a challenge, there's no doubt about it. But they are a different party to the Conservative Party. We uphold Conservative values and principles. Reform want to destroy the Conservative Party. That is a very different proposition. Our purpose is to get rid of this shambolic Labour government, get them out and replace them with a Conservative government. That's our goal, that's our focus. And we're seeing in some of the polls that actually that's getting attractive now to the British population. But we're aware, just because a few months ago people booted us out does not mean they've fallen back in love with us. We've got to earn that trust and that confidence over over a period of time. But we're a serious party of government. We want to govern again, not just protest.
But one of the reasons people became disenchanted with the last Conservative government was it wasn't very conservative. You know, net zero is not a Conservative belief. Neither is the immigration, mass immigration that's taken place. You know, and until you change your views on those two issues, I don't think anybody's going to be convinced that you are a Conservative government. I mean, would you be prepared to ditch net zero as an idea?
Well, Kemi's been quite robust on net zero. She says she's not a climate change sceptic, she is a net zero sceptic. We're under new leadership now. We've learnt the lessons of the election. We took a beating. We understand why. We need to show the public we understand why. And we're under new leadership, and I can tell you, the policies that we are developing, we've got activity on policy commissions going on. They are going to be founded on proper, sound, conservative values and principles. Tomorrow, it's 50 years since Margaret Thatcher became the leader of the Conservative Party, and a lot of the values that she articulated about low taxes, small government, personal responsibility, security through sound money, these are things that are core Conservative values. We admit we moved too far away from some of those values when we were in government, partly because of circumstances. Difficult to be the party of low taxation when you spent £400 billion on the pandemic, securing jobs and livelihoods, but also people quite rightly said you didn't focus enough. We should have moved quicker on tax cuts, and we should have done more on migration. There is no doubt about that.
Okay.
We apologise to the British public for letting them down, and we have learnt our lessons.
Okay, so would you reverse then the electric car mandate?
Well, in terms of the specific policies here, this is exactly what Kemi has said, by the way. She's not into making announcements until we've thought them through and the consequences and the potential unintended consequences. So over the next few months and years, you will get a really robust, sound, credible alternative with lots of policies coming out, but they will be not sound bites, they will be credible policies we'll implement. So the details will come out over the next few months and years, and that's appropriate because it's 4 years until the next election. God knows what shape the economy will be in after this lot have been in power for the last 4 years, and trying to make policy announcements now, including in particular things that have got any financial aspect, would be for the birds. It wouldn't be responsible, and responsible government and responsible opposition is our trademark.
Right.
That's what we want to make sure
policy on immigration. She did make some policy on immigration just the other day. But
yes, we did. She's made some announcements last week. Yeah.
But that's not premature and dangerous. And listen, Nigel, we've got to run. Nigel Huddleston, MP, co-chair of the Conservative Party. We've got to go because we're just out of time.